Assalamu alaikum, good afternoon listeners. It's Mr. Suleiman Ben Sware coming back on Facebook Live on the Open Gambia platform. If you bear a minute, we share the video and then we can start this program. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Today is Thursday, the 4th of May, 2023. The time is just gone 13 minutes past 4 in the afternoon in Birmingham, England. May I first of all say that always there are many people that will lose someone they know. And we always know someone or related to someone that we lose. Yesterday we lost a brother, Modu Jallo, commonly known as Lama, based in North Carolina, from Latikunda, Kotusilo. And Lama is a dear brother and a friend, a childhood friend for that matter. We grew up together. We continue to pray for him, to his soul to rest in perfect peace, his soul to rest in Jannah, and Allah to continue to bless the family he leaves behind. It's very shocking. Someone you know, someone very close, someone very young, to depart and leave this place. But we continue to pray and hope that he will be in a better place. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will continue to protect and guide the family and protect us and guide us for the life we live here and for what we represent as people and family. Thank you very much, guys. I want to do this a brief program. I'll try. It's a very extensive program, but due to time constraints, that's why I have to even come. The importance of this program is the reason I have to come to do it, but I don't really have the time to do it properly. But I'll try to do my best and present this program. And just to straightforward is about being vigilant in protecting our democracy and freedoms. And the reason for this is historically we should learn from our mistakes and know that that with the evidence we have, the realities we live in now, we should know that that's where we head into. If we are not careful, if we are not vigilant, that's what Adam Abara wants. And we are going to deal with that historical facts. The current realities we have in the Gambia will allow someone to turn to a dictator. Allow someone to become a dictator. And because of what? The environment we live in. And I always say, the reason we have democracy is for our freedoms and development. The people's perception of our democracy is something that we have to be very careful of. That's another thing that need to address. What perception do I mean about democracy? And because I have seen educated people, it's a mindset. It's not that they don't know. It's a mindset, and it's a Gambian mindset. As part of African mindset, especially Gambian, and especially because of we gone through a dictatorship and coming out of a dictatorship, anything we have, we tend to think that is best. I mean, we tend to lower the bar comparing what we have now to what we have before. But we have to remember that we elected a government. We have to remember that we make sure that those people are paid. We put them in those places. We give them a job to do. We don't expect them to beat us. We don't expect them to take our freedoms. We don't expect them to do anything. We don't expect them to loot from us. That's one thing we should just have basic, thinking. And then we can put the bar there. There's expectations we have. That's why we elect them. They are not our boss. They are not these things. They are our representative. We put them there for them to deliver for us. They are our servant. We have to keep that in mind. But I have seen in many engagements, and that's why when people say, "Oh, you should put your programs in local language so that the people on the ground," our problem is not the people on the ground. Our problem is not the people that can speak English. Our problem is the people that can actually articulate English or Arabic. This is our problem. These are our problems. These are the problems that enable a leadership. And if we have these influential people who can speak English and Arabic or articulate it or whatever you call it, or we call them the educated class, if we can have them to take up their responsibility, I'll tell you, we would have gone far. But instead, they are the ones that we really have problem with. And when they have a perception, when they have their mindset, what it does is it encourages. People follow them. People follow them. When we talk about the leadership, we're not just talking about Barrow, we're talking about many aspects of it. Different levels. We are all part of our problems. Why do we need a democracy? It's for fundamental our freedoms. Our freedoms to choose. Our freedoms to live within a constitution that we agree. That's why constitution cannot be without being put to a referendum. That's why the main articles of a constitution cannot be amended by the executive, cannot be even amended by our representative at the parliament. It has to come back to us, the people, because we gave them the power. Then there's a limitation to the powers we gave them. There's a point that we said, no, we want that to come back to us. Yes, we send you as our representative. We elect you as our executive. We elect you as our legislators. But there's you can deal with this, deal with that, deal with that. But this is so much entrenched that we want you to consult us for us to agree. Then our fundamental freedoms are the most important aspect of our democracy. And those freedoms will go to freedom of assembly, freedom of, freedom of speech, and so on and so on. And freedom to life. We can take it to that. Many issues that are happening today, we could go to court to determine that the government is not protecting us. The healthcare service. That's when we start to think like that, that's when the executive and people that work for us would really sit back and take us seriously. That's why we need to be vigilant. Our fundamental freedoms, the Magna Carta, then the justice in it. That's why we have the separations of power in a democracy. The executive, we gave powers to the executive, and that's why we need to improve that contract, to rewrite that contract. That's why we're talking about the new constitution in order to limit the powers we gave that executive position. It's not against Barrow. If we realize that the constitution we had before, the constitution they bastardized again, by Jammeh, is not fit for purpose. Even Jawara, we gave Jawara too much. We gave Jawara too much powers. We were lucky. In many instances, Jawara did not abuse those. Many instances, he did not abuse those powers to an extent. But that's when we have someone of Jammeh or someone else who does not have the integrity, who does not have the interest, who want to entrench themselves. We leave them with this power. What do? They use the executive powers against us. And they call it constitutional. Yeah, it's my constitutional powers to hire and fire. Now, they can hire a non-entity to run our agriculture ministry. And we all know the importance of the agriculture. When we give the powers to hire and fire, we give the powers hire to fire to make sure that he does good with it. He can appoint clowns as advisors. Oh, it's my constitution. It's my powers, within my powers. I can do this within my powers. I can go for a tour within my powers. I can do it within my powers. Those powers we give. That's why we need to negotiate and make sure we change those powers. And so on and so on. That separation of powers for the executive, that's why we have the separation of powers to the legislature. That we take the responsibility to send people to the House of Parliament to debate on our affairs, to represent our interests, constituency interests. And those will come from as independent individuals or will come from political parties. And those political parties will be seeking the executive as well. They might not have the position of executive, but they might have dominance of the legislature. These things do help. The balance of power, check and balance. Then we have an independent judiciary. An independent judiciary. So that when there is a conflict or pull and push within, the citizen would be fairly dealt with. When institutions clash, the judiciary will be there to help. These are the reasons we have them. But let's move on. I want to just take a little bit of time to push this down. Why am I pushing this down? Again, to remind, what I'm saying is, I know the people I'm talking about, they know what I'm talking about. But because of we have a lapse, and governments we easily forget. And we are just instilled in mindset. And that mindset I want to, inform for us to be very vigilant and change and to be alert. What is this? We have to understand the backgrounds of an dictator, an authoritarian ruler, and a democrat. And in doing so, we want to look at Jammeh, we want to look at Macky Sall, and we want to look at Barrow in a short distance. Why is it this? This is the statement of, yes, we can say anything about Barrow, but he gives us our freedom. Or he allows us. There's freedom of speech. There's this, there's that. First and foremost, it's not a long history. We fought for that freedom. Barrow did not do anything more than any other individual. People died for that freedom. And we forget about them. People got killed, people got tortured and everything. We forget about them. The victims are still around and alive. Just April 10, we do not even celebrate it anymore. Young people went out there to take on a dictatorship, to fight for their comrades, and they got what? Mutilated. And many others. We can go on and go on and go on. But finally people came together and fight and take out a dictator. Even though Barrow would want to make you believe something different. But we all know. We all know. Go and look at the videos. He was clueless and he admitted to be clueless. He admitted to everything else. We carried him. We financed him. And we put him there. And we stood and defended that vote that he ran away from. We defended that vote. before Senegal. I mean, we talk about economic and Senegal. If we have not organized ourselves, if we did not, I mean, state the course for 22 years pushing, if we had given up, and a great contribution from politicians, a great contribution from diaspora, civil society. If we had given up, Jammeh would still be there. And even winning the elections was not enough. You think if we have not stood our ground, you think economic will have intervened? Do you know how many countries have gone to what we're going to and still the dictator state? There are many. But because of Gambians stood and fought, and we gained the freedom. Then Barrow did not give us our freedom. In fact, we appointed Barrow there for his fourth term. Then he turned on us. But let's move on. Why is this? Now, we have to understand that if we are not vigilant, any government will take the powers, the little we give them, the vest we want we vested on them, they will take it and use it against us to take more. And I'll tell you, that is any government. It's not only to Africa. All the time you see people challenge the United States government to the courts, come out to demonstrate. United Kingdom's government, we come out to demonstrate. We go to the courts. We take them to the courts. We demonstrate. I mean, we look at France, we look at any, those so-called democracies, or mature democracies, or called democracies. People would have to hold them accountable. If not, they will take powers off you. I mean, your powers off. I give you examples here, United Kingdom. They talk, oh, they want to, I mean, put in, there was a time they say they want to give, I mean, put us to carry an ID card. They said, no, hell no. It's fundamental. I mean, no, we don't need that. We are existing without needs of ID card. We are carrying enough identity on us, but we don't want any database, anything else. You know, these are things we fight against. Governments are only good, depends on how you hold them accountable. Politicians are good because of you hold them accountable. Just as this person said, Tunis, but I want to use Senegal, which is closer to us. You are quite right. Tunisia. I mean, it's just beautiful. I mean, you're tempting me to go into Tunisia. But, I mean, yes, I think you are onto something here. Let's just look at Tunisia. Pam. Tunisia fought. And a catalyst, a young person just set themselves on fire because of the desperations. And people erupted. And the dictator was thrown out. They went into it. Reforms, pam, 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 democracy, multi-party democracy. Look at now. Go and see what's happening in Indonesia. But Senegal closer to us. Let's look at it. You see, that's why I keep on saying, people, I don't support overthrow of government. I don't support coup d'etats. No. I have my reasons. I have my reasons. Look, I know the political arguments and everything about it. But you know my problem is, where are we going to go with it? Once you overthrow, where are you going to go with it? Once you break a law, I made this very clear. And when I was making the point, many people that I was with could not get it. Many instances, I said, no, I'm not going to be part of, if anybody go out there and do it, if they're successful. Because my problem is not only Jammeh. My problem is the system. And regardless who led that system. And I know if you tell Gambians some of these things, they will not believe it. But people that know. To have taken out Jammeh was not the problem. For some of us, we have come to a time that we knew taking out Jammeh was not the problem. Just to get Jammeh, bam, was not the problem. But what would replace? Or once, depends how you take Jammeh of what's going to answer. Would it erupt? Because there's something, mechanisms that Jammeh have to put in place. Would it lead to a civil war? Would it lead to a situation that we will get into conflict? Might not even be civil, might just be contested of power. Because now Jammeh ultimately removed, there's a vacuum. Now they're contested of power from two forces. Might even those forces be thought to be loyal to Jammeh, just as we've seen what is happening in Sudan. And now, if that happens, how many lives will be killed? And everything else. I know Jammeh was already systematically killing people, but how many lives will be killed within that instant, and what's going to be, how that's going to be end? Would Senegal just have taken advantage of that and the annexation of Gambia, or the control of our sovereignty would be quicker for them? Quicker for them. These are things we battle with. Then we went on to the issues of then how do we determine the person who continues? And I came to a conclusion that I will not support anything and any individual to take over power. I will support anything that, and I will only be part of it if I can be guaranteed. And that's, I mean guaranteed, not someone telling me something. But I will play a crucial role, or I'll be in a position, because I know I will not betray myself. When it comes to power, until you can determine in it, you don't rest on people to determine, to guarantee that for you. I will not be part of it. And there are many instances we thought about what can happen. And ultimately, we said we need a leadership, we need a political leadership. And we need all the other leadership, but we need the political leadership to ensure there's no vacuum. And to ensure there's no vacuum, it is very important. And that's where the strategy was built on leadership. It started on leadership, on democracy, underpinned by democracy. Day and night. Never allowed anyone to position themselves because they have money or they have influence or anything. What we do is let the opposition come together. Then the other things will go in, other things will go in. And we will always be careful how much limitations, how much we deal with Senegal. Because of, we know they have a sovereign interest, we have a sovereign interest. Yeah, Jammeh will go, but we have to deal with each other. All these things we know. Because why? Let me just come back to this. Why am I saying this? Once someone takes over power illegally, what happens is they would need instruments to apply and to be justified in order to consolidate, because they are illegitimate. They are illegitimate. That's why when you see they will try to show a difference. But if you are illegitimate, you cannot sustain that show of that I am a different. We are soldiers with difference, because when you get pushed, you don't have any alternative but to use power. Which is different from democracy. When democracy people push, you allow them to push to the limitations of the law. And if you become very unpopular to the extent of the people showing their unpopularity, you get voted out through elections, or it will threaten the national security that people are, this is not time for elections, it's 2 years to elections. But because of so much of damage you have done to this country, you have lost the legitimacy. You have lost your mandate. Because your mandate is not 5 years, your mandate is 5 years and deliver. And you fail to deliver, and so bad that we cannot wait for 5 years, we are coming out. Our or now it cannot work, or cost of living, corruption, you have become a billionaire, your family, your wife have become a billionaire, your kids are becoming billionaires, your associates are becoming billionaires, and people are suffering. Agriculture is bankrupt, the economy is bankrupt, our institutions are bankrupt, Gum Petroleum is bankrupt, everything, the ports, it's these issues, we are coming out, and you are gonna go. When that happens, the person goes, the constitution says. There's already something in place. It will be a constitutional crisis, but within that, the constitution is still in existence. Nobody suspends the constitutions. Our freedoms, our rights, the Magna Carta, everything else stay put. Parliament stay put. Nobody dissolves parliament. It depends how deep it is. Or then the vice president would have to step in, and 3 months we go to elections and resolve it, and so on and so on. We have that political debate. But when you come from us overthrow a government, now you start to have to think of the elements that you have to deal with. Now the security that you were part of, or the security that helped you to overthrow, now you're expecting, a counter offensive from those institutions. Now you start to move people, you start to arrest people, you have to do this. And in every coup d'etat, now people will be accepting coup d'etat. And next minute, you go for adversaries. And when I say adversary, people say, oh, it's the politicians in government? No. Anything that holds society together, anything that that you need to control. Because what do you do first? Suspend the constitution. Get it out. Dissolve parliament. Why would I support anyone to take my rights? Why would I trust anyone? Why would I trust a group of people to take something that we are as powerful as our constitution to throw away, and expect those people, I said, their moral, their conscience to rule me without something to guarantee my for recourse? If I am not happy, I can go through the courts. If I am not happy, I can go and push my MP. If I'm not happy, I can come out in the street. How can I come out in the street? Okay, what will happen? We all know when you come out on the street with a dictator or military government. Now, everything else they'll underdo. They will arrest this, and the more people push, the more they unleash. That's what a dictator is. That's why what happens during Jammeh is because of we allowed a coup d'etat to happen. And yes, the failure of why it, that's a discussion. But what I'm saying is just to understand this mindset of our freedom and democracy. Let's look at another, a different thing here. Macky Sall. That's why we need to be vigilant. Today, if you are not following Senegalese politics, I ask you to follow. Because that's how important it is to us. Gambia and the rest of Africa, for that matter. Macky Sall, who came out as a civilian, as a technocrat, went through the political party systems. PDS, moved from one position of political office to a prime minister. Become a mayor, become an interior minister, become a prime minister, move from prime minister, speaker of house, and to opposition party leader to come and be and front this movement of opposition parties and civil society to resist against a third term to depose his mentor or a father, political father. And now, everything that he said, everything that he witnessed, everything they went through and so on, he's never been in the army. And Senegalese democracy, we all know, uninterrupted in Africa. What happened in today? Every instrument of the dictatorship now has been applied. Now he have gone over to use corruption. Now, even the people who fought with him and stayed with him and from a political party, with everything, civil society, he went against. He went and used money to bribe every other kind of these things to regain control. Because of he did not come from the army, he would have to do that. Because of the environment he's operating, is already, the institutions are independent, there's the mindset of people and everything. Now he have to redo. That's why it's very difficult for him. He cannot start with coming repressive force. But he started to pick his opponents based on thump-up charges or whatever it is and go after them. We all know that he was not fighting corruption when he went for Wada's son, Karim. Because if he was fighting corruption, not only Karim, but Karim and all his other disciples, no. He picked Karim, and guess what? All the others with Karim run away from Karim and went and joined him. That's all he wanted. Now, he put Karim and get him out. Now, all those people, Samuel Sar and others, they are now there supporting him. He went for Khalifa Saleh because a potential candidate. He wrecked him off. We go after someone else, bribe him, get him out. Make him useless. It is a say. Take orders, give them appointments, and so on. You know, when after the civil service started to move people, use the executive powers. Now he have to go, and now he's going against the independent institutions. The army. Removing this gendarme, remove the generals. Is that not a dictator? He is not doing it to the interest of the country. It's not about national security. It's about him. Not only that, using what we should term as junglers in the Gambia. Using, militias, going out, being armed, firing shots on opposition and civil society. Arresting journalists for their opinions and anything else. The justice system completely transformed badly. Because it was independent. Now, any judge or anything that rules against him, it will get moved, transferred, prosecutors, arranged. If Senegal can be seen where it is now, what do you think of Gambia that have disrupted the democracy? From 1994, we have not lived in a democracy. Until 2016, we started to build. We have not reformed the mindset of the people, because within the educated class, you see our mindset. Or should I say so-called educated? You see the evidence of everything happening around us. The environment. You see the institutions are not reformed. The civil service. We all had a cabinet secretary, a civil servant, coming out showing his position in a political party that much. And it's not only him and others. All of the entire civil service is politicized, still politicized. The police. We had the Inspector General say in Parliament. The Commission of Inquiry. The commission. You see, I don't even know the name of the commission anymore. That's how irrelevant they make it. TRRC. The recommendations, the lowest hanging fruits, something that Barrow doesn't have even think to be done. The recommendation, all these people have committed these crimes, needed to be taken out of the service. It's not happening. And because the Inspector General come and said, yeah, because if you do that, then they will not obey our orders. What orders do you want them to obey? These people obey orders that are illegal. Oh, you telling me now because you want them to obey illegal orders. That's what they said. We have seen the Faraba incident. Those who held responsible, people were killed. We have seen the Fonyi incident. Someone was killed. Other people were injured. Many other instances. Nothing came out of it because Barrow wants it that way. Barrow wants it that way. And remember, some of these people that they asking the TRS ask for them to be taken out of service. Do you know many people that been suspended are still being paid. For how many years? And do you know they are, some of them are the ranked, very senior ranks. They're still being paid. Why do you think that? Some of these people, in fact, got reinstated by Barrow. Jesus and others. Why would you reinstate people like Jesus? Other people got deployed into the civil service. This is the situation we have. Now, an environment like this, you want to be complacent. You want to think that, oh, we have our freedoms, and Barrow gave us our freedoms. Once, lie, he didn't give us freedom. Two, if we allow him not protect, we get to that. Why do we? I understand limitations. I understand the need to effective governance, but always that's why we have our constitution first, the supreme, and we have legislation. If the government goes and finds that there's a situation that's developing and there's a need to be effective, and the only way to be effective has to be to do this, but there's no provisions in the law, the government then goes to the legislator, our representative, to discuss this issue. And we need a law to help us to do this. We understand. I support any effective government. And the democracy. That's what democracy said to us. That's why we said this. But let's look at Barrow and his dictatorship tendency then. That's what tendency now is proven. He's a dictator. When we said tendency before, and you know, one thing about dictatorship is about intolerance, greed, corruption. That's what dictatorship. I'll tell you that for not. Dictatorship is nothing else. It's traits in the person. If someone is very intolerant, that person is a dictator. If you give him power, he will abuse that power. He will grab more. If someone is greedy, he will grab more. If someone is corrupt, he will grab more. And he will abuse. Why? Because they will break the law, and they want to continue to break the law to cover the law they have broken before. This is where Barrow have already come in. The first was the tendency. When we look at the tendency, we look at his tolerance. And the evidence of that, remember when Halifa Saleh said system change? The first months. And, a press release. Halifa was in London when he said that. I was present when Halifa said that. Halifa did not even go far, as Halifa does. He criticized, he does, fly over it. He doesn't go personal, he doesn't go straight shooting. No, he just fly over it. Talk about system. He did not even criticize anything. He just made an opinion as a leader and everything. The press release was made through GRTS, and people started to point at finger. Oh, it's not Barrow. Oh, it's Alcalde Conte. Oh, it's not Barrow. It's this person. It's that person. I said no. Oh, Barrow is tolerant. Barrow is calm. I said no. Nobody just jumped. You think Barrow is that naive? Just jump and send a press release. And they went attacking Halifa. Then the mask dropped. Dr. Cisse, and thanks to Barrow, I'm not saying, even made the doctor to believe that he got something to be a political leader. But doctor have proven himself to be an amateur. You see, that's why I said again, don't look at the letters before the person's name. Don't look at the letter whether it's a Mr., Miss, or Mrs., or MA, BA, MSc, DR, or whatever it is. Look at the character of that person. If you appoint someone, look at that character of the person. If you want to rely on someone, look at the character of that person. Doctor came out as a political scientist. Then he was not even a politician or whatever it is. He might have ambitions, he might have these things, but it's because Gambia is easy. You string three words together, people will come and say, yo, I want to make a president. You look a certain way, you leader, so make a president, I'm going to look, I'm going to lead. That's what they do. All what he said was based on invite on a program and his observation as a political science student, lecturer or whatever you call him. And Barrow went berserk. Barrow went berserk on life. And it's not that Dr. Sisi was standing there, Barrow is standing there, they are in a debate. Now, imagine that he had something on the radio that a political science lecturer said. And it's not a time, this. Oh no, he came out. You think that person would not be a dictator if he had all the powers? You think if he could, he would not have done all this? And I tell you with evidence, Barrow have asked for many things to be done. But because of what? Just as he asked many things to be forgotten, the Janneh commissions and all the other things, so that he's corrupt. He have disregard of the law, rule of law. He have disregard of due process. He's not a law-abiding citizen. That person is a dictator if he have power. That's what we look for. But many statements Barrow have made. The 𝒕𝒉𝒂𝒏𝒏, what he said about 𝒕𝒉𝒂𝒏𝒏. Oh, he celebrating the brutality, the wrong, it was completely wrong what the security forces did. But no, still we don't see that. And someone would tell you, educated person would tell you, but at least Barrow gave us our freedom, or there's freedom in the Gambia. Because we are still holding onto that freedom, and if we let that go, we'll suffer for it. And the other thing is, when Barrow talked about his powers, I have economy, I'm even more powerful than Jammeh. Means that I have the laws, still within the powers given to me as an executive. He's telling us that the powers we give to him, he's not thinking about the best time he can use that power to advance us. You know, when we talk about democracy, when we talk about the freedoms, fundamental freedoms and liberties and the check and balance system, why do we do all that? It's for development. What do you say about development? It's not about the roads and only. That's infrastructure development. One aspect of it is the human development, the impact. It impacts our lives. The dignity Gambians live. Not when we see children, women, youths and everything fleeing that country, taking the risk to the Sahara, taking the risk, we come with it to the Atlantic and others, crossing the Atlantic. Now Gambians are flying to Nicaragua to try to get to the US. Senegambians for that matter, Gambian Senegalese. Don't say that I am, they know their networks. They fly into Nicaragua to join those convoys to get into the US. You think a country that's not in war, the country with the resources we have, but we can see the evidence of where the resources goes to. We don't see their children taking the route and others. But we see the transformation in them and their children and their extended families and people around them. That's why we fight for democracy. That's why we talk about democracy. But not only that, when he talk about my powers, yeah, it's the same constitution, and now we hear a representative of him, CDC, is saying that, oh, Barrow has the powers of this, powers of that. You see the mindset? I even have more than Jammeh because I have economic. He believes that economics is there to let him do what he wants. Is that person not already a dictator? It's from here. Starts. When he attacked Madi Jobate last year. And whenever he has the opportunity to address Gambians, what does he do? He goes and attacks citizens. Look, we might not support a political party or political parties or individuals, but their rights and freedoms and to be respected, that's something that should be encouraged and supported. Because of if he gets away with those, he's going to come to us. We might not like Mahdi, we might not like Ben, we might not like Aissatou or Mariama or others. We don't have to like them. But we have to respect them for their rights as citizens. We have to protect and fight for their rights as citizens. We don't have to like the UDP, PDOIS, GDC or anything. But we should make sure that the government treat them right as opposition. We need them. just as civil society organization and others. These are what makes a government. These are what make a country. We should not encourage, we should not accept a government to operate and operate with people and operate a political system and politicians within to go out there to use a divisive politics, nasty as a tribalism. It's a policy. 𝒂𝒐𝒊𝒏 by force, my brother 𝒂𝒂𝒏 by force said it, admitted it. Yes, it was a strategy at the time of elections. They will come at the time of election to divide us. 𝒂𝒂𝒏 by force said it. They all, Ahmad Ba said on a platform. And others said it on a platform when Barrow was present. That's what dictators do. And these are against the law. What happens? Nothing. Then he's a dictator. But what else makes them a dictator? Because of corruption. Corruption. You see, the intolerance is part of it, but corruption. You see, when they steal money, just like 𝒂𝒊𝒏 did, when they steal money, start to steal money for other things, and they tend to want to, and start to live the life and others, and people with them start to steal and everything, those people around them would not want them to live, because when they leave, they will be held accountable. Now, they won't want anybody to talk about their theft. They will threaten you, they will take you to court, and if they could, if you were within their reach, they will go and arrest you, accuse you for anything. When you challenge them, they turn around to make a law because, oh, you're insulting us, you're harassing us. They will do that. Your defamation, they will charge you for defamation. They will do this, do that, in order to intimidate you and intimidate others to not to do it, so that you guys will be silenced. They will use the corrupt money to buy media houses and others and do other things, buy influencers, buy the religious leaders. They create a system. Corruption, it's become a system. You know, theft. People think theft is theft. Corruption, theft. They consider, no, it's everything that goes with it. The power, abuse of that power, misuse of power, misuse of resources. And once they become corrupt, and everything else, their wives, their families, friends, and patrons and other people, and people they throw the crumbs to. You know, they create, because of their failed system, the people become so desperate. You know, our time I would have gone into a lot of other things to explain. But you know, when people are so desperate, you can see it in families, in fact. When families are really poor, lack of resources, and one member of the family might be the middle child, because in most cases, middle child becomes successful because they have opportunities. It's not because of middle. Look, if I had time, I would have explained why in most cases middle child becomes successful, and the senior ones would be less because of there's no resources at the time they're growing up. But as they grow up, even their support and whatever little they do, and this middle child and others benefit from, and the middle child will start to be a little bit more successful. What happens? If you're not careful as the middle child, you become arrogant, because everyone runs to the middle child instead of running to the senior child. Looking up to the senior child for the leadership and culture of respect and everything. No. Now the middle child that managed to get out of Bakau, out of Serakunda, out of other places to go to the suburbs, build a bigger house and everything, have a bigger job, be his name on radios and other places, become the most important person. Now even the parents will be alive, the respect is just a symbol. And whether the middle child is a good person or not, that's irrelevant. It's the resources. Now the politics of the family will resolve around this middle child. I'm just giving examples as a middle child. I'm not saying that they are not successful. I don't want any senior children to come and attack me. On others. But it's the same thing here. They create a situation that people become so desperate. That's why they go around and buy your voter cards to $500. Or go and give you bowl cooking pots or whatever it is. to hold a system. But it's not sustainable. It always leads to something else. Now, when it comes to, this system, what happens is, now, because in democracy you have time limits, or you every time an election will come. Now, election come, they use the corruption, and the corruption, and they use the security services to entrench themselves. That's what boroughs have been doing. This is reality. Using the money to corrupt. Every elections, let's corrupt them. Every elections, let's pay media houses. Let's pay people to go and divisive politics, tribal politics. Let's go and then insult. Let's pay them to go and attack each other. Let them go and attack the opposition. Let's instigate. Let's instigate something from the opposition. At times, opposition reacts certain way. They don't even realize that the state have put them in the position to react. That's why when I always tell the opposition, be careful. The party, the government don't want to discuss issues. They want you to react. So that it's not about the issues, it's not about people, the NAWEC bills. Look at the elections going now, people are not talking, yeah, we all know what NAWEC is doing, bills are doing. But they are not talking about it. We are not talking about, hey, this guy's attacked, that guy's attacked. But that's what we have to understand. That is because of corruption and incompetence, and with the enabling environment, he have people that will do what he wants. And I'll give you an example for that. I have to be quick, guys. It's taking longer than I deserve. Let's just let's go straight to look at currently what is happening. We had the address Barrow made. I'm putting evidence here with the banjing of elders in Korete. Barrow went specifically to talk about social media, people on social media, and he said TV, but he doesn't care much about TVs and others. Do you know why? He knows the less effectiveness of those TV stations. Because most of them are self-censored, or they are censored, they are paid. They do an interview, they make arrangement with the interview, they get paid, or they go soft on government because of they want adverts from parastatals, they want adverts from business people who are part of the corrupt system and come out. They do that. We know how it works. You have the likes of mavericks like Ben Suarez and others who have this, but they try to control social media, they can't. The other thing is, he talked about radios and said community radios. Do you know why? I was in the Gambia and I was amazed. That's why sometimes people say, oh, say this in, oh, you should speak in local language. No. Our problems is not the local, sorry, what we term as local people. Our problems are not the people that average Gambians fighting to this. They know, they require leadership. It's not that they don't know the pain. They live the pain. They know the struggle. Yes, to educate them, you'll be surprised how informed these people are. I have had them. The problem is us, the influencers, people that know, who should know actually. That's why when we have this conversation, when we benefit from this conversation, we go and give leadership to those people and system will change. Until we do that, fight against tribalism, fight against corruption, and make sure we hold on people accountable and the system accountable, and you'll be surprised what will happen. When I was in Gambia, I had many FM radios, community radios. People call in, and I am amazed how articulate they are in their own language. Mandinka, Fula, Jonas. I mean, you can tell they're articulate, they're passionate. And they're not scared. They're saying it as it is. Barrow would not want that. And that's why community radios were created. That's why community radios were created, to give a voice to the people, so that the people can have, they don't have access to GRTS, they don't have access to FM radios in the towns and cities, but they can share information, they can do things, and they can express themselves. He doesn't want that. He went against that. And guess what? Pura came out. And I said, as I said to people, they will deliver. Because of these people are all enablers. Pura. How much things Pura need to do? Pura knew about this NAWEC tariff is completely wrong. I am not saying. People say, oh, tariffs are increased everywhere. Two things I'll tell you. Wherever tariff is increased in a democracy, there is something to determine that. And there are many organizations that will come in and can be consulted. The justifications have to be clear. What inflation, what demands, what led to this number. And then people advocate to the government and push government to say that you have to intervene here. Cost of living in the UK here, I'll tell you there are many mean tested. That you earn this much, government will do this. You earn that much, government will do that. You earn that much, mean tested. Because some of these things, this standard of living is about life. But not here. We all know why it went to the percentage it went to. And it's about corruption. This is what Barrow don't want you to discuss. Do you know the car power? Car power. There are allegations. Again, I'm saying allegations because I'm still waiting for something. And if I get that thing, I'm coming to say that Barrow is doing it. Take me to court. For now, it's allegations, and there's enough reasons for me I have enough corroborating evidence, in fact, to say it. That's why I'm saying it. I can stand on that allegations. Because I know how it's structured, when it started, how it's structured, from Alhaji Conte. Alhaji Conte went to UDP, now it changed to Lamin Sima. And apparently, they said 10,000 euros a month is been kicked back to Barrow. That's why car power bills are always paid by NAWEC. Bills we owe to Senegal are not paid. Now those bills needed to be paid. And I tell you here, and keep this in records. In 2-3 months or 4 months or 5 months, you will hear NAWEC say that, oh, they reduced their tariff 10%, now it's only 20% increase. It's a strategy they did. If you continue making the noise, they will reduce it far more than that. Now they are taking as much as possible to able to settle their bills. If you had come out and demonstrated, I'll tell you the tariff will go far less than that. But if you keep cool, the tariff will stay, regardless of the damage it does to the economy. You see, this thing is not about what it does to people alone. It's about the economy. There's something called energy poverty. And if you create, people that understand economics will tell you, what does it do? You see, the cost of bread, or the quality of bread, the cost of service, cost of these things will have to increase. Because how many people depend on electricity to do things? And orders and orders and orders and orders. And what about people who can afford them? How does it affect their life? And if it affects their life, the productivity of those people in contributing to the economy. These are things we need to think about. And do you know why? As I said, when you evaluate how tariff goes up, you have to think of the other corruption is the passing supplying NAWEC for fuel. With fuel, I have to check this number again. I think it's 40% of their expenditure or something like that. Something Haji Bani Sisaho or something like that. That guy is introduced by Barrow into the deal. That guy is paying kickbacks to Barrow. Barrow don't want the people are not hearing that. But the people are here, or Barrow have attacked the opposition, especially UDP. Now, UDP will have to respond to Barrow. That's why I keep on telling UDP, be smart with this. Yes, I'm not saying don't deal with it, but know the limitations, how to deal with it, and move it over. This is why Sonko is relevant in Senegal. He knows how to go with government, when to confront government, and his people. You know, you have to have a structure. Every time there's someone from 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒏 going around to talk about other issues, not to follow the dictate from this thing. The corruption in NAWEC is many, which Barrow directly influence. Let's move from there. Now, Pura have to write this. Pura would not tell you about the regulations of telecoms and others. But I'll tell you one thing. Because of the passing head in Pura, 𝒂𝒂𝒏, and I'll tell you, go and ask 𝒂𝒂𝒏. If you go and tell 𝒂𝒂𝒏 𝒂𝒂𝒏 is talking something bad about you, he will know that it's not true. Because 𝒂𝒂𝒏 knows that we know each other. I will not say anything a lie. I will not say something bad about him. But he knows that he's been put there by the cartel. That position, he occupied that position by cartel, then he will do what Barrow wants. But you know, they know that. In fact, I don't know this. Just Pura wrote a letter to, because of what Barrow wants, they said they were gonna act. Barrow wrote to a FM station called King FM. Look, I don't know anyone who works at King FM. I cannot remember hearing anything from King FM. I said, if someone does wrong, obviously deal with that. But the interesting part is this letter here, which says the Pura letter to King FM. The authority, through its monitoring of all content on regulated FM radio, is concerned to note that certain content broadcasts over King FM are not in keep with your license condition. The authority wishes to strongly remind King FM management that it is mandatory for all radio broadcast license to conform to their license conditions and present all news in a factual, accurate, impartial, and non-politician manner. Present current affairs in a balanced, clear, factual, accurate, and in impartial manner. Note that non-conformation to these license conditions attract punitive actions against offending entities, whoever this may be. In this vein, you are hereby asked by the authority to give reasons as to why punitive actions should not be taken against you on or before the 9th of May 2023. Failure to respond by the stipulated date will lead to concrete actions taken against you without any further communication. Yours faithful, 𝒕𝒉𝒊𝒔 𝒂𝒄𝒄𝒆𝒍 for Director General, the Permanent Secretary. One, they are lying. We have seen the, look, if people know, 2021 election, they had jobs. How many so-called TV personalities or stations make millions of dollars from here? You know, the COVID funds, you think it was just COVID funds and other things. We have seen the presentations with people they brought on platform insulting leaders in the opposition, talking about tribal, this is breaking all the laws. We have seen how QTV and Q Radio has been run since Mohammed went into this thing with Adam Babaro. It's a lie. Because 𝒂𝒂𝒏 himself is because of Mohammed he's where he is. It's a lie that they monitor this. It's a lie. And now, what are these people going to respond to? What are they going to respond to? What you have not talked about the program, the day, which program, what. But they will do it to satisfy Barrow. Or Pura have done something. The minister will go to Barrow. Yes, Pura have written to King FM. They're testing the waters. And next minute, they can just go and close King FM. Because of people will sit down and watch that. And other radio stations will sit down and watch that. That's why the GPU, Gambia Press Union, they call them, they should stand up. That's why civil society works and other people's work. We have to vigil. Let's move further quickly. The community radios. And the other bit here is the incidents. And Barrow went to the buffer zone to do that address again. You see the dictatorship in Barrow? So some of the things that Barrow said, give you an example. Barrow said, let's beat them during the coming elections, in brackets, and finish with them. Continue your work. You don't have anything to be afraid of because we are ruling party. Don't be afraid. I am behind you. There is nothing to be afraid of. President Barrow said. That's what President Barrow said. Incitement of violence. Incitement of violence, and the evidence now is here. An incident, someone called, I think the councillor for Talinding is Karamo Bojang or Karamo something, guys. I forget that. If you know the councillor's name. The allegations of an incident that happened. That a break-in or unauthorized use of the facilities. As a councillor, he went to intervene, he got attacked, and he moved from there, and the police were there when he was attacked. They didn't do anything. Because of the PIU, our brief, or the mindset of the PIU, is the mindset of the PIU. We all know what the PIU did with Jammeh, supporting Jammeh. Now it's the same mindset, and now the IGP is the same mindset of IGP for Jammeh. It's the same thing. They do this thing, and apparently the interior minister was there. Or he's not there, he's aware of what's going on. Because they all want to secure a job. You see, dictatorship is here. 𝒂𝒂𝒏𝒄𝒒, thank you. 𝒂𝒂𝒏𝒄𝒒. Now, Karamo went to do that. He was assaulted. He went to the police to report. Guess what? He became the victim. He became victimized now. He no more the victim. Now his arrest moved from here, there, charged, and spent nights over. A councillor reporting. Not only that, 𝒐𝒊𝒏, a supporter, now there are loyalties because all these people now, they're interested. 𝒐𝒊𝒏, who was a supporter of Barrow Youth Movement, they started the Barrow Youth Movement with others. Vehicle got attacked. By what? A convoy. Which convoy? Bakari Baji, NPP. Last night, I think, Rahim Malik Law's supporter vehicle got attacked. Then because of Barrow telling them do whatever. Why is Barrow telling them do whatever? Because Barrow wants to consolidate completely. Barrow wants to make sure there's no opposition in that country. He is a dictator, and this is the way he can go about it. He's pushing the barriers. He wants to make sure he takes over all councils. And if you take over all councils, guys, the councils are important to control the grassroots. When he controls the grassroots, his election fraud and everything will be easy. Just as Yahya Jammeh did. He wants that power. And he's telling them to do whatever you want, not to come out of it. And this is why we should be vigilant. This is why we should be vigilant. Because technically all opposition parties are dead. The only opposition party which is vibrant now is UDP. The same reason Barrow have problem with the UDP, Jammeh have problem with the UDP. It's the same reason Barrow had a problem with the UDP. It's because of their opposition. Today, if UDP has gone to Barrow to say that, okay, now we're coming to support you, you'll be surprised. He can give them 4 ministerial positions and let them be corrupt. Give them money. That's he will do, just as he did with others, so that there will be no opposition. Then he can do whatever he wants. That's what he wants. Whether you like UDP or not, whether you vote for UDP or not, that's not the relevant issue here. But let UDP not be intimidated. Let UDP not be provoked. Or just as if it is PDOIS, GDC or any other thing. Why do they always go to, just as the same thing in Senegal? You actually say, why always Sonko? There are so many opposition, but Sonko is the trouble. That's a lie. Sonko, Pastef are not the trouble. They are the one threatening, threat to, taking over power democratically. This is the difference. You see, we have to be realistic here. Take it however you like. Oh, Ben is supporting UDP. And I said, if I wanted to support a political party, I will not shy away from it. I will not shy away from it. But I want people to understand one thing is about what is right. And don't to be nobody can manipulate me. I understand how systems work, and as an advocate, I am experienced enough. I know how to advocate, where to start. I am strategic in what I do. When there's overwhelming power and force coming from somewhere, I know how to and opposition out there that have potential, but cannot be a match to the state. This is someone borrow using the state resources, using the state institutions and manipulating, using the state resources to manipulate. Dividing the country into tribal, using tribal politics. Yes, in some instances you have people within the UDP react out of ignorance, and that will be perceived as an evidence. That's not enough for me. Are there some people there are some tribalist people within UDP? Definitely. Just as there are some tribalist people within PDIS, GDC, NPP, Gambians for that matter. Yes, based on ignorance. Ignorance. Is 𝒂𝒊𝒏 prejudice? Definitely. But I'm not tribalist. That's one prejudice I have combated and getting out. I am not sexist, but I have my prejudice, which I am combating every day. This is about democracy, understanding democracy, understanding system, understanding how a dictator comes about. This platform, I stood the same. When UDP were in power doing the same, I came after them. And I said it as it is. I didn't need to insult. I did not insult. I've never insulted Barrow. Even Yahya Jammeh, when he insulted us and I insulted back, I even regretted that. It's not our nature. It's not my nature. But you know, at times when you push back, these things happen. What we are talking about here is about Gambia. We have to be very careful. The amount of corruption and everything, Barrow now is pushing this. And if we allow Barrow, it's not, I'm telling you, not my personal. Go and find out. They are threat for legal action. Let them go. They will not. They will not. Right now, the amount of wealth Barrow is dealing with, Barrow's wife and his auntie and others are putting into UK and others. Yes, we know all that. It's an opportunity. That will be an opportunity to get to those. At times I don't want to even touch it, so they let them. But they know, I know. The land they're buying, transforming it, wealth they're creating, and people are poor. No, Barrow would never come and talk about that. You know, when one thing, Barrow would come on the roads and go. You know, I told you about this OIC roads. We are in May, June. The rains will come. You see, every time one section of the road they're showing you the update. Gambians, be smart. But you would not have the journalists there to go and show you. What about the Canifing roads? What about the Bullfoot roads? And improvement update. What's the timeline? A project that doesn't have a timeline? And you don't suspect there's a problem with that project? A project without a timeline, project would have been delivered so that by now we do not talk about these roads. And because of the Barrow's corruption. And now if Barrow come and tell you that I have a road which is up and down, stupid. Gambia, because of up and down road, I am the first part to build an up and down road. Where is it yet? You see the holes being dug? Do you know the things that have not been done with this project, which have been done? Because risky the money to do here, it's all kind of managing expectations. There's a big crisis in these road projects. And I can, any Gambian to ask, call me on any platform, we debate this. Go and look at the Canifing roads. There are many things they have not dealt with because of the resources, the way it's been contracted, been awarded, and resources. Why is the government only showing us one part of the road network? Risky. Why not the one Gambisara and Pitford are doing in Bullfoot and others? Why the others in this thing? And why now the rains are coming? Gambia, there's a lot we need to talk about. But we have to be careful, we have to be vigilant. guys, I mean, I did just don't have enough time. I just rushed into some of these things. I would have gone more into this in detail, but inshallah we'll have time to come to it. Thank you.